So the salvage mission was successful. The snowball is building back up again.
Yeah.
Huffer celebrated 25 years last year,
Yes.
which is so amazing. Like, I'm so stoked that we get to share this story with you because it's such a Kiwi success story with its trials and tribulations and its success at the other end.
Yes.
But I know that you took some time in the last few years to really define what Huffer is.
Yeah.
And you went on a bit of a personal journey. Can you talk to us about what you found?
Yeah. I suppose, with that growth, when we're talking retail and more retail, more opportunities for people to come and hang out, and then, more sustainability in our business, came layers and more people. And, once you open a few stores, you have part-timers and managers, and then you have a retail manager. And so there was more people involved in our business. And, the values and the tone of voice that we intuitively lived. And in the early days, we just knew what to do. We knew to do a skate tour. We didn't have to write it down. We didn't have to draw it from our strategic plan. It was just, that's what you do. But when there's more people, you need to be able to communicate some of the core fundamentals of your mission and your vision and your values. And so it was about, we decided that it was time to do that and to actually redefine the DNA, because a lot of it, I suppose being the longest standing member, a lot of it was, not that it's all about me at all, but a lot of it was stuck in me. I knew it, and if you're around someone a long time, I think it was like 3 or 4 of us in the office, we were skating around, we all knew what to do. But when there's like 30 and then retail, and then there's a lot of people. So it's like, how can we build the tools to give them the opportunity to live Huffer, because they want to. They've signed up. They want to work with us and be part of it. So we pulled the brand to bits. It was like went on a 3 to 4 months journey to redefine and just really pull it to bits. It was so emotional. It was like all the stories. Like it's like this for 3 months, like sitting here intensely talking about the brand, the history, and with imagery and garments and stories and writing things down, and like had a breakout room, and then we put it back together with some really clever people that didn't really dictate what we were about, but they had really good skills in being able to put what was the essence of who we actually were into a really helpful format to then use to communicate and live by. And that was amazing. That was sort of in 2019, just pre-pandemic actually. And part of that on that journey was, I suppose through that growth period of getting out away from the hard period, we didn't lose. I think we lost sight of where we're from a bit. We're just caught up in the busyness. We're just doing what we needed to do, because like that place over there was scary, and we're like, we'll do anything to get away from that. But then it was like, okay, we're going to reconnect with who we are. And like by going through that process, we just realized like, I remember shooting campaigns in New York and Japan and LA and like around the world. And it was so cool. It was so exciting. And it was like, I think we were trying to, it felt like we were trying to be global and look global and feel, but it was like, nah, man, we're it's all about us. We're here, Aotearoa, like this is us. And we did that. And then we found our voice again by building the tools. And what a great time pre-pandemic. I think I shot the next couple of campaigns after that. I went to Patia and Taranaki and Central North Island, and like these raw, emotional imagery from back here rather than the streets of New York. And then, if you showed someone like, what's Huffer about? And we show them a campaign, and you go to New York and go, here's Huffer. And it's like, oh, that was just a shot or some imagery around the corner. Like, what? But you show them Patia. Wow. Well, it's powerful, So, I suppose in the busyness of everything, it gave us the confidence to be ourselves, reconnect with the mind, the gut, the instinct.
Yeah. Are you in a good place now? It seems.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. I mean, pandemic's horrendous to some degree. It was like a roller coaster, and but everybody's got their story, and everybody's got their sense of trauma to some degree. Some worse than others, but we have an extremely good team. Work through that, and I think through that we created a plan to transform what we're doing based from that work we all did on the brand. And it was like, let's not try and dominate the world and go into all these new markets. Let's fall into ourselves and live ourselves and transform what we do with connecting with people through retail, creating the opportunities for people to come and hang out. Let's reconnect and really turn up product, and let's really work on community and what that actually means. So that's been our journey, which we managed to do between trying to survive in a pandemic. Then we're back on, we're back off, we're back on. But yeah, so we've been through this most amazing period, and I'm really proud. Like, the product right now is just, it's where it needs to be. It's on the right pathway, I suppose. I can see that, I can see the future from product more than you guys can, because we're sort of working in it. But yeah, it's amazing to be able to have the brand live in the products, in the retail, to serve its purpose, and then community building being what it needs to be.
When you go through that sounds incredibly powerful, like an incredibly powerful journey professionally, I imagine it's hard to not feel the same thing personally.
Yeah.
So how much of Huffer the brand, or Huffer the business, mirrors Steve Dunstan the person?
Yeah. It's been like 26 years of my life, and going from the early days of living it, doing it, like changing registrants, handwriting invoices, delivering it, sewing it, to being into the position where that brand project we did really unlocked it a lot, and it's actually attracted its leadership, and it's attracted better talent, better people working for us, better culture, and then higher achievement. Which then, gives, these great talented people coming into your business, and then you get the chance to not step back, but it's like you need to step away to get closer to some degree. So the things sometimes I battle with, like, if say, I was talking about photo shoots, I used to sort of be and produce and create most of the photo shoots, and then you get a van, you load it up, you do the production, you get there, and you pack all the things up, and you do this thing, you come back, and it's midnight, and you pull the stuff down, you may have a cold beer, and go, whew, that was some tasks. I feel like, my contribution. But when you provide the tools for great people to come and do that to be in line on brand, and then not up sounds like the wrong word, but you get the space to be able to do more impactful work. So the journey from that can be, it can be challenging, like learning to let go, but then to put yourself in a space to be able to look at, providing a leadership from a different level. That's growth, but it's hard. Growth is hard, and it hurts sometimes, and yeah.
We're into the section now labelled Steve Dunstan the person. Shay's just got us into that zone. And I've got we reached out to your wife, Nahuia, and she's given us a few little bits and pieces. And I want to read what she said. We asked, what Steve like, what insights can you give? And she said, he's really wonderful at listening to others, and his approach to people comes from a very optimistic place. His glass is always half full, and he thrives off of other people's energy in that way. How Steve thinks and where he chooses to put his thought space is quite interesting. Not sure if it will come up, but he has a wonderful way of thinking. Does that sound right to you? Is your life full of optimism, and where does that sort of way of thinking and approaching life come from?
Yeah, I'm definitely optimistic. I don't think that's a strength, to be honest. Sometimes you got to face the hard stuff. You could either at times wash it with some optimism, but yeah, no, it is a good thing, and that would be true to some degree. It's very nice that she said that. Well, shout out, it's pretty nice. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I love connecting. I love people. I'm quite social. I love being around people. I get energy from people. I like collaborating. I think and it's a beautiful thing when that works, when you collaborate, whether it be a social collaboration or a project you're working on, or from a more personal thing. Sorry. Ask me another question. I'm a bit lost.
That's all right. When did that genuine love for people? When did you really hone in on that as being almost like a superpower? Because I feel like I've got elements of that in my own personality. The same thing. I give energy. I take energy from people. And when you come to terms with it as being something that you can harness and use to your, I won't say advantage because that feels manipulative, but when you realize it, it's quite powerful to unlock. When did you have a moment, or when did you realize that was a thing?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah. Maybe it's just a slow realization. And hey, I don't always get it right, I think, it's something to think about. This is good. I'm going to go away from this and do some, reach into the mind.
I know you answer them. I don't want to jump in on it, but like your IG game, like some of the captions and stuff that you come up with, your thoughts that you put forward to the world. If anyone doesn't follow, like jump on Steve's IG. It's good.
Oh, man.
There's some amazing takes and reflective pieces of your observations and things on life. Like it's incredibly powerful and really admirable as well to kind of view.
No one's ever said that. I mean, those thoughts, I suppose, that communication like that is just coming from my gut and what's happening right now. Sometimes it's funny when you write things like, not just that, but when you write something at the time, it's like taking a photo. You take a photo and then you look at it and you're like, oh. But then you come back to it, and then that's when it's magic, and you go, wow, I've written some stuff, and come back to it and go, what? What? Did I write that? And then same with photography. You take, it's a creative process, and you take a photo, and then you're in the moment. It doesn't really make sense, but it takes time to then come back to it, to then put everything into perspective. So, I mean, sheesh, God, too much tension on me at the moment. What about you? No, I don't mind, but I'm sort of a bit lost for answers there, but
The mental health foundation element of it. You're using your platform, the people presence.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us about the concept of social sustainability?
Yeah, like I suppose it came from, when we launched onto the scene and we became this love mark, and this, a lot of people want to work with us, and we want to give always. So, so many charities approach us, like the Westpac Rescue Helicopter or the Breast Cancer Awareness, or we're doing these fashion shows and get involved with this and this. We always want to give, right? But I was like, got to a point, instead of waiting for people to approach us and saying yes and being generous, like what could we front foot and what means something to us? And it's not about me, it's some of the key players in our team. What do we identify with that really has impact, and like what's something that we could stand for? And it was like, the obvious thing was mental health, and we all have a mental health, and the state of it changes at times, and I'm no, don't get me wrong, I'm no expert on it, but if there's anything, the way I see it is, if we can create awareness and use our platform responsibly, or our connection with people, we do have a connection to some degree, or a voice. How can we use it? And we use it with, we invite other people to tell their stories, and much like this podcast, it's a platform for communication, but through the lens of mental health. And came up with the idea of people presence. It's like people being present, but also being present for people. So just the idea of, building a platform for awareness and to, create positive conversations around mental health.
Yeah, I like that. Does
so we do that in various forms. It's we have a internal staff people presence plan. Then we have we make products where funds go to the Mental Health Foundation. We have a good relationship with them. When you come and get a coffee down at Britomart store, you can tap to donate funds there. But all those actions and products and whatever, it's still bringing the conversation to the light, and I think that's really important. And I think for us, it's such a journey. It's like we are far from any expert at all, but at least standing for it, I think, is a good start.
Yeah, it's such an important direction to channel your
Yeah.
power and your platform.
Yeah.
For you personally, does that help with your mental health? Is that your space where you can sort of find yourself?
Yeah, surfing. Coming from a skateboarder, closed-minded skateboarder, we used to hate surfers. They're bloody surfers. So I was never really interested in surfing. I had skateboarding and then snowboarding. But then when Huffer started, I stopped becoming the responsibilities of business. Landlocked us to Auckland, which was, it's harder to snowboard. Skateboarding, as you get older, the concrete hurts a bit. You don't bounce like you used to.
And on those
I still got a board.
Yeah.
But anyway, then so I needed that outlet to do something at a level of progression. Like I think skateboarding, you learn how to ollie. That unlocks the next trick, which is the kickflip, and then all your tricks come, and then you can ollie down some stairs and handrail. So that progression, that's the exciting part about those sports, the progression. So it's like, well, I can't. I was still snowboarding. I go to the mountain. I was like, I'm not as good as I used to be. Although I did say before I was, but
Nearly.
no. But you're sort of not progressing. So it was like, what can I do that will give me that same? It's one, accessible, and then two, gives you that sense of progression and that sense of learning, I suppose. And then being new to surfing, Auckland, Piha Beach was only 40 minutes away, and it's something you could do sort of frequently. So I discovered surfing and then I was doing it for the progression, but now over time I've learned that it's, there's the whole community side of it, and there's people, and you can surf with people, and you can go on journeys and stuff. But when you're out there by yourself, which I did not do in lockdown, because
Not allowed.
some people did until the helicopter came out and busted them. But when you're out there, if you can get those rare moments when you're out there by yourself and there's not many people around you, it's a different world. Like you have to, it's the adrenaline's there, and you need when it's big and you challenge yourself, you haven't got time to think. And surfing is really, again, coming back to your mind, and how do you know just to paddle over here and a set's going to come here, and it's flow, and it's everything that I suppose skateboarding and snowboarding represented, but there's a nature side of it as well. Man, you go to the most beautiful places and you're connected to a new world, which is the water. There's plenty of things under the water, and I was always so scared of the water. I could swim in pools and stuff, but I was scared of fish, and I was like, what are these jellyfish? And then just say it, sharks. Just say sharks. And then building up to sharks. And now I was lucky enough to go to Fiji in November, and I was out on restaurants, which is part of Cloud Break, another break. I was out, it was small, but I was just out there by myself, the boys on the boat, and there's shark rolls up to the edge of the reef. I just sat there, I was like, I was calm to some degree. But if that was me pre-surfing, I would have, because it's nature, it's like, I wasn't going to go and poke it and prod it, but I was just like, right, it's just a shark, that's its home. Just be calm. Put out calm vibes.
You do put out calm vibes, though. You practice that, right? Like of almost absorb. Like I've heard this spoken of you. I haven't experienced it other than today, but not pushing your mood onto other people that come into your space, like in terms of friendships and connections, right?
Yeah. You tell me this. I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard it spoken of you that you're, and it's your low key. I guess your low key vibes is that there might be stresses going on in life, but rather than putting it onto kind of somebody else, it's I guess it's part of that being that people presence is being present for other people when they're in your space. And I've noticed that as we've gone through here, if you don't know the answer to something, you're not going to throw something out just for the sake of it. You'd rather stop, pause, reflect on it, and say, actually, you know what, guys, I can't reflect on that right now.
Yeah, world needs more people like that.
Totally. That don't just shoot from the hip and say something and then...
Yeah, I really like that when you get interview subjects and they're not afraid to just take a minute and think about what they're going to say instead of just firing something off. Yeah, really good observation.
Oh, that's cool, yeah. Yeah, that's I'm learning so much from this podcast. This is cool, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I feel grateful to be here and to be able to have a conversation like this. I'm learning. It's good. Thank you.
Do you actively practice stuff like mindfulness or gratitude?
To some degree, yeah. Not as much as you can always do better, right? But Yeah, I think, and coming back to your question about surfing, I think it's part of it. You have a new appreciation and gratitude for nature, life, and you just don't have time to think about silly things that can worry you, because they do. And then you just start overthinking things, and you can worry I have worry at times, which is as a vulnerability of mine. I don't, and then when you get out of it, you can snap yourself out of it. You're like, why am I worried about that? Where's that actually coming from? And to surf can calm that down. Like light pieces of meditation, whatever that means. It could be a ritual, or it could be getting a coffee, or connecting with someone. So yeah, just trying to go on my own journey to work out how to look after myself and the people around me. It's a good thing to explore. And some things I'd probably do subconsciously, which hence why I can't answer, because I don't know.